up, guys? I'm here with my boy Abdul.
What's up, guys?
We're in some traffic and we figured we'd answer your Q&A questions from this week. So what's the first question? Question.
Alright, so Ariel Afshraf says, Arash, can you please give me more information and training tips and examples of high intensity blunt force training that helped you go from having a model's body to a damn that dude blew up type body? Mercy.
Good question. So he's asking what took me from GQ, pretty boy, six-pack abs to like holy shit. For those of you thinking it was drugs, it was not. Anybody that knows me well knows that I've been lifting since I was 13, got really serious 14, 15, 16. I turned pro naturally at the age of 33 in 2014. So what took me over the edge was exactly what he said in his question: blunt force trauma. Really heavy, really intense lifting. Now, before I get to that type of training, let me just tell you that any type of training works your first year of training. Your first year of training is like a human's first year of life, like a baby from day 1 to day 365. It grows rapidly. After that, the growth of a child slows down. If you kept on growing at that rate, we'd be like 24 feet tall and like 3 tons. The same thing with bodybuilding. A beginner goes into the gym, I don't care if you're doing drop sets, supersets, lightweight, whatever. As long as you're kind of pushing yourself, you're gonna grow. You're gonna grow a lot of muscle. And for you guys that are newbies, take advantage of that, because you're never gonna grow at that rate again. Unless you just like keep stopping and starting every couple of years. So I implemented a lot of different techniques. I did supersets, I did drop sets, I did 15 reps, but there came a time in my early mid-20s that I learned about blunt force trauma, max OT, Dorian Yates style training, and I lowered my reps. I lowered my reps to 4 to 6, and I lifted very heavy. Now, obviously this is dangerous. It's very taxing on your immune system. You can't be like partying and drinking and not eating. You need to be eating enough to replenish your glycogen stores, the carbohydrates in the muscle, and enough to be recovering and growing. If you try to do this type of training while eating nothing and dieting, you might not grow, you might not get stronger. So, and you also need to be very careful. You need to warm up and train safely. When I say 4 to 6 reps, I don't mean throwing weight around like an idiot. You need to do 4 to 6 reps at weight that you can handle with good form. That's what really took me over the edge and made me like, oh shit, look at that guy, he's big. That's really it. Next question. Piggy 2196. I'm not making that shit up. Do you ever do any waist training, basically corsets, belts, or have you seen anybody regularly use it? I know Buendia wears a Squeam, and one of my favorites, Roman Fritz, wears one at the time. I'm talking about in trained low body fat people. So he's asking if I wear waist trimmers or Squeams, and he's saying he's referring to Jeremy Buendia, Men's Physique, Mr. Olympia, and Roman Fritz, I don't know. So I believe, I've never used it yet. I may use it, I may give it a try now. I've been thinking about it recently. I believe it works. Corsets have been proven to work. Waist trimmers and corsets basically are things that go around your stomach and will squeeze you to try to get your waist down in size. They do work, but there's 2 things. One, you have to be wearing them for many hours, north of 10 hours a day. So whether it be throughout the day, while you're sleeping, whatever the case may be, some people wear them so tight they have a hard time eating or digesting. They'll get acid reflux. So you got to make it tight, but start off, don't kill yourself. You could cause some harm. And yeah, the tighter it is, you are moving around some of your internal organs. So, making your waist a ½ an inch or 3/4 of an inch smaller is one thing, but like cutting down 3-4 inches over a year or 2 could be hazardous to your health. So, along with diet, exercise, and abdominal training, can you use it? Yes. Next question.
Take the cross out.
Can you read the next one?
Yeah.
We're getting off cross on north?
Yeah, where to go? Where to go?
We're trying to multitask here. Is it cash?
Cash app. Cut.
guys have some weird names, man.
Yeah. Arash, my question is, even though bodybuilders eat 6 to 8 meals a day, how do you keep their gut healthy? Is there any secrets in their diet, or do they use some other thing to keep their gut on track? Thanks in advance.
Well, so gut health. How do you keep your gut healthy eating so much damn food? Some guys just don't give a shit. They eat whatever, they eat crap, whatever the case may be. First thing you guys got to understand is a human doesn't need as much protein as a bodybuilder eats. To be massive and big, yeah, you need the protein, but it's very taxing when your digestive system is working 24 hours a day, every single day. I mean, yeah, you're sleeping, but the first 4 hours of your sleep, you're probably digesting food. So what I recommend is that you have vegetables in most of your meals. Don't eat protein alone. Try to eat a small serving of vegetables in every single meal. And then for gut health, we have bacteria in our stomach. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You don't want to kill the good bacteria. So you can take a super enzyme, a digestive enzyme, first thing in the morning. You guys research it, Google it, do your homework. South, right? And then you can also take a digestive enzyme with every single meal. And there's other things you can do as well. A lot of people for stomach health and just well-being will have a tablespoon or a shot of apple cider vinegar. And if you guys Google this, you'll come up with a lot of things. I think it's good to do a cleanse, a fruit cleanse or a liquid cleanse every few months, especially when you're eating so much protein. So I would definitely go with the enzymes, the digestive enzymes, but the food you're eating, the quality of food, where you're getting your food is very, very important. Try to cook your own food. Try to make sure it's good, clean food, no processed crap, and get in a lot of greens. Don't just have like 8 ounces of steak or chicken sit in your stomach. Have a salad, have vegetables. Next question. What do we do? 3 questions? So there's 2 more, those last 2.
Masob FN. What's up, Arash? I have a lower back injury. It's been a year and a half now since I hurt myself doing some squat. I went to many doctors. They all say I have nothing on my spine, and they give me some painkillers. After I feel good, I come back to the gym, and the injury comes back again.
All right, so the reason you had more?
Yeah, it was just I don't know what to do. It's becoming very annoying to me. Please help me.
The reason I picked this question is because maybe a lot of you have back problems, but even those of you that don't, a lot of people get injured. The human body's very weak. There's no such thing of an athlete without injury. I mean, golf players have freaking elbow and shoulder issues. Secretaries have arthritis. So if you think you're not going to get injured playing a sport or bodybuilding, you're just you're being arrogant. You have to do injury prevention. Rehab is rehabilitation prior to injury, but injury prevention is exercise to strengthen areas that we don't strengthen in the gym. So first thing I think about when I read this question is that you haven't been diagnosed properly. You don't know what the issue is, and you haven't rehabilitated. You haven't worked on getting your back better. So that's why you keep re-injuring it. You guys need to figure out what the problem is, what the cause is. Did you pull a muscle? Do you have a bulging disc? Do you have a herniated disc? And you do this through good doctors and x-rays/MRIs. Then you got to go get a good sports physical therapist, not some bullshit physical therapist that works on 90-year-old women and just puts them on various machines. Someone that could really, really tell you how to strengthen the problem areas. Most of the time, you guys have to understand the way the human body works. Most of the time when you have an injury or you have a pain, it could be something else, and your body is overcompensating and you have a pain elsewhere. So you need someone smart enough and educated enough to tell you what your problem is. So for your back pain, you got to figure out what it is. Do you have a bulging disc? Do you have a herniation? Do you have a serious injury like that? And then you need to work around it. You probably have a weak core, you might have weak hamstrings, and you need to work around it and avoid doing things that are making it worse. You're obviously going back to the gym without pain and then triggering it, doing something you shouldn't be doing, and hurting it and leaving again. And painkillers are not going to do you any good. They're just taking away your symptom. You're better off with anti-inflammatories. Taking anti-inflammatories, check with your doctor, and relieving the inflammation. And you can do that also with ice. If you guys go train and then you have a pain in your immediately in your elbow or your shoulder or your back, that's inflammation. You can ice it there and then. But main thing is figure out what the problem is, and then, you know, getting it diagnosed, and then moving forward accordingly with rehabilitation, strengthening the areas around, and working around the injury. The difference between the average person and a pro athlete is that these pro athletes will spend 12 hours a day doing rehab. So you see NBA or NFL players injure themselves and they're back in 3 months. A regular person will take 4 times that. They'll take 12 months. Because these pro athletes, obviously they have the best doctors around, but they're spending numerous hours every day rehabilitating. Next question.
Perfect. Row in Minecraft. What do you think that contributed the most to your gains during your natty days? And parentheses says, till you got your pro card while you were natural. Parentheses, other than persistence. And then it says, keep up the great work. The good work, bro.
Thank you, brother. And that's a great question too, man. Like, one thing I'm not too crazy about in this industry is a lot of young guys, you guys will look up to certain athletes, and it's like, you know, a lot of guys are doing things that you're not doing, and you know, he's asking specifically natty days, because, you know, you look at these guys, mass monsters, and you're replicating what they're doing. That's what I did when I was a kid. I looked at Hulk Hogan and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, and I trained my ass off, and I didn't know that they used anabolic steroids. I didn't know what they did, and, you know, I trained and I pushed. It didn't harm me. I worked my ass off, but I didn't look anything like them, even after 5 years. So it's good to be realistic, you know. And I advise everybody to stay natural. Don't think there's any shortcuts. You know, train your ass off. Get as far as you can. You know, genetically and physically you can, from training and knowledge and correct diet. So what I really dedicate. My gains, you know, my early years and especially my natural years and being able to turn pro naturally is, 1, consistency. Sickening consistency. Get off here.
Yeah.
2, diet. I was eating 6 meals a day in high school. I was carrying around a gallon of water in high school. I trained 6 days a week in high school. Consistency, eating. I don't give a shit if you guys bench 315, squat 405, and bent over row 4 plates. If you're not eating properly before and after those workouts, you will not grow. I promise you that. You might get stronger, but you won't grow muscle tissue. And also, going back to the question that the other guy asked me, is blunt force trauma. You know, I don't believe you can get freaky density and size naturally by just doing high rep volume training. Again, in your first year, maybe. But after a while, I stopped making progress. I stopped getting bigger. I was like 185, 190. I looked good, you know, GQ, nice shape, nice muscles, but I wasn't getting bigger at a fast rate. It just halted. And when I started to do heavyweight blunt force trauma, I started to grow. And I ate accordingly. I experimented with food timing and intra-workout carbs. Left?
Yeah.
And intra-workout carbs and creatine and all these things. You know, I read and experienced trial and error. So, you know, I have people always ask me like, oh, what's the best supplement? What anabolic stack is the best? And I'm like, how long you been training? Oh, a year. Okay. How many meals did you eat today? It's 5 in the afternoon. Oh, I had 2 meals. I'm not going to answer that question. If you're not eating 5 to 8 meals a day and training 5-6 days a week for a couple of years, supplements and anabolics should not even be a question. It should not even be in your mind. You should not be thinking about that. The best analogy I can give you guys for supplements is race fuel. For those of you guys that are not familiar, race fuel is high octane fuel. Like, you can get like 93 octane at the gas station, but for race cars we use 100 octane fuel. It burns at a lot faster, a lot cleaner, at a higher temp. So if you take race fuel and you put in a Toyota Prius, nothing will happen. It will not perform better. It's just going to be a waste of expensive gas. But if you put race fuel in a car that's primed for it, in a Mustang with exhaust and ECU and headers and tuned, that's souped up, the car is going to have more output. The car is going to be faster. You're going to get more horsepower out of it. And it's the same thing with supplements. If you give it to somebody that's not wired for it, if you give somebody give it to somebody that's not wired, that was the wrong wording, but that's not ready for it, that their muscles haven't been training and eating and they're not ready to take it on, nothing's gonna happen. You might get a little bloated, you might get some acne. So you guys gotta build a base, get bigger, get stronger, eat right, and then think about that in the long run if it's for you. You got to think, why am I doing this? What, for Instagram or for the beach? And think about where you want to go with the sport. So I think that was the 5 questions for this week. I'll try to do this Q&A more often. I know you guys have tons and tons of questions. I'll do my best. I hope I answered your questions good enough, and I hope all you guys that you know, I didn't answer your questions, you benefited from these at least, and I will I'll go through them. I think there's a lot of questions in there, so maybe I'll just go through that same list of questions in these comments and pick another 5 for next week. So till then, guys, stay strong, eat and train. I'll speak to you soon.